Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to Stormgate Central, and in today's video, we're going to be going over all of the little tidbits of information we've gotten over the past couple of weeks about the next big patch that is coming to Stormgate this September. It's going to bring with it not just balance changes, but also a lot of aesthetic changes to the game. Amara is getting a lot of changes as well. Some of you guys may have already seen these on my channel. I have been posting them on the community tab, but I thought it would be interesting if we take a look at absolutely everything here and what the public's perception has been to it, because I think on the whole it's been pretty positive, which is a really nice thing to see actually. So before we get stuck in, as always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future Stormgate videos. Plenty more of that to come here. I'll be doing my best to keep you guys up to date as usual, and as always guys, thank you so much for your support. So first things first, the patch is scheduled for September the 17th, so this is taken from Discord, and one of the community managers, Jex, posted this, saying, "Our next update is slated for September 17th, Stormgate Early Access version 0.1, codenamed Hunter. That date is, however, subject to change, but it's our current target." So this was actually, I know it says today on the screenshot here because that's when I took it, but it's actually like a week or so ago. I'm not really sure why they're calling it version 0.01. In my mind, the game normally would be like version 0.1 now, and then the next patch we're beginning should be 0.2, but I digress. I guess they like to think of the early access build as just 0.0, so that's what it's going to be called, 0.1, just so we're all on the same page. So she continues here saying, "We understand that many of you would like to see us patch with greater frequency. We'd like to as well, but we have a lot going into Hunter, and we made the difficult decision to not slow down development with an additional patch that could put our first content update at risk. Thank you for your patience and for supporting Stormgate and our development team. We hope you were pleased by the progress we are making, which we'll share next week with an update to our roadmap and a preview of what's coming in Hunter." Now, as of the recording of this video, we haven't gotten this preview that she's talking about, so I do expect that to drop fairly soon, and I will give you guys a proper video update on that there as well. So basically what they're saying here is that there are balance changes going to be going into the Hunter patch. The reason we haven't gotten any so far, like to address a lot of issues with the game, such as the overwhelming usage of the scouts and the whole dog meta with the Vanguard, is because they don't want to have to delay things by putting out one of these smaller 0.03 patches when they should be focusing their efforts on the bigger patch, which really matters more in the long run. So we don't yet have confirmation whether the dogs are going to be addressed, the scouts are going to be addressed in that patch, but I would say 80 or 90% confident in saying that they will be. I mean, they have to be, right? Now, it looks like the Hunter patch is also going to bring some pretty nice visual changes as well. Stormgate posted this on their official Twitter page. They also posted it in the Discord. And this is a before and after of just some shader work here. I'm not exactly sure on the technical names of what they've done, but all I know is it looks a whole lot better. The grass there has so much more detail. It really pops out of the screen at you. And I think seeing the frigate test into the early access build and now the current build that we have going into Hunter really does illustrate just how much of an impact some of these seemingly small changes can have on the way that the game looks. I think if they continue going down this path, they are hopefully on a path to success and winning back some of the people who stopped playing the game because of the aesthetic and the way that it looks. So far, the feedback around this change seems to be pretty positive. A lot of the people are really liking this, so that's really nice to see. And then, of course, we've got arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest change in this patch. Obviously, I don't know what's going to be in it, but this is one of the things that they revealed just yesterday, and that is what they're calling the evolution of Amara. So as we know, they're going to be updating the character models for the campaign. Amara has been the subject of a lot of criticism specifically, so this is a previous and current version. I think it's a really good improvement here. They've obviously gone for the sort of beautifying her a little bit more. They've changed the proportions of some of the body parts there. If you look closely, she does still have the scar across the nose and over her eyebrow, sort of leading into her eye there as well, although it's a little bit more subtle. I suppose it's the old, like, when in doubt, just make the characters more beautiful. Is that the right way to go or not? Not exactly sure, but I think we can all agree that it's definitely a big improvement here. People seem to be liking this, and I'm going to assume that we're going to see a similar treatment for Blockade, you know, and the rest of the characters from the campaign. Also, shout out to Empyrean Sky for posting this over on the subreddit. He posted this for visibility, and it's from Gerald, one of the community managers, talking about the Amara model, and he says, "Hey folks, whilst the new Amara will replace her gameplay model as well as what we use in our in-engine cutscenes, she's still going to be original Amara in certain pre-rendered videos, like the interlude A Good Man that takes place before Mission 1 of the Vanguard campaign. Our intention is to revisit those later, but it's not an immediate priority as we focus our work on other areas of the game." So if I remember correctly, I think Interlude A Good Man is the first in-engine cutscene that's not like the cinematic CGI one that you see of her thinking about her father before you begin the first mission. I haven't played the campaign for a while and I don't want to spoil anybody, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about here. So if you do get into the new Hunter patch and all of those cinematics haven't been swapped out for the new model, it could possibly be because they want to do all of that work at the same time. They want to get all of the models because obviously there are more characters in those cutscenes than just Amara, so it makes sense for them to do all of that work in one foul swoop. But apparently she is going to be also replacing the in-game model, which I didn't know about. I thought they were mainly focusing on some of these cutscenes. I don't think anybody really had too much of a problem with the way the character looks in-game, although obviously you also have scenes where the camera zooms into her in the game whilst you're still in the mission, and then she didn't really look that great there either. There was no, mouth flap or anything like that, so going to be interesting to see all of that stuff coming. I think in general she looks a little bit less cartoonish than she did before, but this art direction still very much fits in the stylization that they've been going for with the art direction for the game. So once again, if Stormgate and Frostgiant keep going down the same path here, making these same iterations, making these same changes to the game and trying to bring up the overall quality of the art, I am hopeful that once 1.0 rolls around a year from now, things are going to be looking a lot better, and hopefully with a bit of a marketing push, we can see the player numbers rise again. Okay, you guys aren't going to believe this, but as I'm recording this video, they literally just dropped even more news about patch 0.1. So there's a new 1v1 map coming apparently. It's called Furious Resolve. This is what it looks like, and what they say about it is that it's a macro map with an open center. It's going to have 4 random spawn locations, so unlike Lost Hope, I'm assuming that you can spawn at any of the locations instead of just like horizontally or cross spawns. No, sorry, vertically and cross spawns, I should say. There's going to be 3 easier to defend bases, so that's obviously going to lead into that macro style, and then there's also a center siege camp here. So it looks like we've got one base in all of the corners that is on high ground, then you've got a ramp leading down to a Luminite only natural that is pretty easy to defend. There's only one way in there. There's cliffs around the edge, so you can only get through there by air. Otherwise, there's just a single choke. And then we've actually got a double Therium. Very interesting positioning for that because it's obviously not really in the third base. The third base is a little bit further down on the other side of the double Therium, closer to the health camp. So early creeps are going to be big in this map, just like in every other map, so I suppose you're going to have to make that decision. Do you want to go for that nice, easy, safe, close Luminite expansion there, which doesn't have any creep camps close by, or do you want to go for the one that is in the third position where you can really, take that health camp, especially if you're playing as the Celestials? Very interesting map. And then, of course, right in the center, there's that siege camp, surrounded by 2 vision camps as well on either side, so whoever's got at least one of those camps, I think we'll be able to see if somebody is attacking the siege camp there. However, something else you're going to notice here about the creep camp specifically is none of the bases are actually the same. So assuming you and your opponent spawn, like they say here, in any of the random positions on the map, 2 of them, the ones in the top left and the bottom right, have Therium towers on the other side of the double Therium mine there, and then they've got the health camps. The other 2 sides of the map, the bottom left and the top right, they actually have a speed camp instead of the health camp, and then they have Luminite towers instead of Therium towers. So depending on where you spawn, that is going to slightly affect which kind of build you want to go for and which resources you're going to be able to gather. So super interesting map here, very much so looking forward to playing this, looking forward to casting games on it as well, and just seeing what comes out of the pro players at the very highest level. Now, somebody also commented under the Twitter post here on Amara's, saying, will the major content update include any balance changes? And they have confirmed, yes, our content update will include balance changes. So once again, the dog meta, I think it's got to be changing. What they did with the last patch, which we're on right now, 0.02, if I recall, is they said that they were looking at the dogs, they're looking at the scouts, but they didn't want to make any rash decisions, any changes too early on. And I can kind of understand that. If we look at what they did to the vectors, they nerfed the movement speed of the vectors, and they have completely disappeared from the meta at the pro end of things, at least. So they don't want to do that with the scouts, because they are the starting unit for the Vanguard. It's literally the first unit that you get, it's the first unit that you can build, so they don't want to make any rash, hasty decisions that lead to the scouts being completely and utterly useless. I know a lot of people are against scouts in general. They would prefer for them to be, well, just that, a scouting unit that is only used for that, doesn't really have an attack, more similar to, like, you know, an SCV or a worker unit. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to go down that route. I think they've put too much time and effort and work into the scout to just do away with it and make it, you know, only a scouting unit and not a unit that can attack and fight back. So balancing it is going to be a tricky thing. You want to make it still viable within the matchups, but obviously it's a little bit too overpowered at the moment and definitely overrepresented compared to many of the other units. So when are all of these changes coming? Well, they did say that it was slated for the 17th. That was not an official date though, that's just the date that they're aiming for. However, just yesterday when they posted this of Amara, if you noticed there, they did say that this is the first major content update coming next week. So now as we draw closer, at the time of recording here, it's only 5 days until the 17th. It sounds like they're getting more and more confident that that is going to be the date. So that is next Tuesday. And I can't wait to jump in there. And as I've already mentioned at the start of the video, they said they were going to give us a roadmap or some more information on exactly what's going to be in the contents of this update. And since we've only got 5 days until the release of it, then I can only assume that that is going to be coming over the next couple of days. As soon as we get that information, I'm going to make another video summarizing all of it for you guys here on the channel. So make sure that you are subscribed, guys. But what I want to hear from you all is, what do you think about these changes? Whether you are somebody who's been playing Stormgate every day and you're the biggest Stormgate fan there is, or you're somebody who put down the game immediately, you maybe didn't like the campaign, you weren't fond of the art style, and you've been waiting for some changes to come back in here, maybe keeping an eye on the channel here and waiting for some good news. Let me know what you think about this as well, because all the voices are equally important, and I think we need to hear all the different perspectives of this conversation here. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.